The first 25 minutes of Obsession had me worried. The last hour had me checking dark corners in my house.
Hello?
That's one heck of a comeback story. Most horror movies scare you for 2 hours. Obsession scared me on Tuesday, even though I watched it on Saturday. That's the difference. Obsession's greatest strength is that it never fully tells you what's happening. The movie constantly leaves the door cracked open just enough for your imagination to start working overtime. Is Nikki possessed? Is the wish cursed? Is something supernatural manipulating events? Is there something even darker going on? The film never rushes to provide neat answers, and that's exactly why it works. Every theory feels possible, every explanation feels incomplete, and every unanswered question sticks with you long after the credits roll. In an era where every horror movie seemed destined for a sequel, a prequel, a spin-off, or even an 8-hour part streaming series, Obsession does something refreshing. It trusts the audience, and for God's sakes, please Hollywood, leave this one alone. Don't explain it, don't expand on it, don't turn it into a franchise. The mystery is the magic. One of the reasons Obsession gets under your skin is Nikki herself. And no, I'm not talking about the gore, I'm not talking about the violence, I'm talking about the way she moves, the way she appears, the way she occupies a room. There were moments where I felt like she was walking from one place to another, but she wasn't really walking, she was materializing. 1 second, she's not there. The next, she's standing in the doorway.
Hello?
Staring at somebody like she just received instructions from another dimension. And that's what makes her so unsettling. The movie never commits to whether she's possessed, cursed, controlled, or something else entirely. Instead, it leaves you trapped in the same confusion as the character Bear. And that uncertainty becomes terrifying because your brain keeps trying to solve a puzzle the movie refuses to complete. One moment, Nikki is sympathetic. The next, she's heartbreaking. The next, she's absolutely terrifying. And somehow, the movie convinces you that all three are the same person. And somehow, the movie manages to make all three versions feel believable. Forget the ghost. Forget the demon. Fuck them monsters under your bed. If I woke up and found Nikki watching me sleep, I'm gonna move to another state. One of the strangest things about Obsession is how often it walks the line between terrifying and ridiculous. And most of the time, it actually works. There are scenes in this movie that had me genuinely uncomfortable. Then 5 minutes later, I was laughing and wondering what kind of fever dream I had signed up for. That's not necessarily a criticism. In fact, some of the movie's funniest moments makes the horror even more unsettling because you never know what emotional gear is going to shift into next. Take Nikki. One moment she's creepy, the next she's tragic, the next she's completely unhinged, and somehow the movie keeps bouncing between those extremes without completely falling apart. The infamous customer support scene is a perfect example. What should be a ridiculous concept somehow becomes the most disturbing moments in the entire film. It's funny, it's absurd, and yet it's deeply unsettling. That's a difficult balance to pull off. Not every tonal shift lands. There are a few moments where the film pushed so far into shock value or absurdity that it briefly pulled me out of the experience. The Sarah death scene was one of those moments for me. Not because it was violent. I've seen violence before. The problem was that the movie had already built so much tension and dread that the scene felt excessive. Instead of making me feel uncomfortable, it momentarily reminded me that I was watching a movie. In horror, that's a dangerous thing to do. The same applies to the $1 billion wish scene. I understand what the filmmakers were going for, but it felt like the movie briefly wandered into a different genre before finding its way back. This movie had more mood swings than a haunted Ouija board. The good news is that these moments never completely derail the film. They just cause a little turbulence. The train stays on the tracks, even if a few passengers get thrown around. And honestly, I would rather watch a horror movie that takes a big swing and occasionally misses than to play everything safe and be forgotten a week later, because even Obsession stumbles. It's still interesting, and that's more than I can say for most modern day horror movies. One thing that Obsession absolutely nails, it is its use of darkness. And I don't mean darkness because the filmmakers couldn't afford better lighting. I mean darkness used as a weapon. This movie seems to understand something that a lot of modern horror films seem to have forgotten. You don't always need to show the monster. Sometimes the scariest thing in the room is what you can't see. Throughout the film, characters are constantly framed in shadows, doorways, hallways, and dark corners. Not hidden, not invisible, just visible enough to make you start looking for things that may not be there. And that's where the movie becomes creepy. Because once your imagination gets involved, the film doesn't have to do all the work anymore. You start doing it yourself. There were multiple moments where I found myself staring into the background of a scene, looking for movement, looking for a face, looking for something. Sometimes there was nothing there, and sometimes that was worse. What impressed me the most wasn't just darkness. It was how the movie used light and shadow together. A room could feel completely normal one second and deeply unsettling the next. Not because something jumped out, not because the soundtrack screamed at you, but because the lighting quietly changed the mood underneath your feet. The movie constantly creates that feeling that something is wrong before anything actually happens, and that's difficult to do. And Obsession does it remarkably well. The best horror movies don't just scare you, they make you anticipate being scared, and that's a huge difference. A jump scare lasts 2 seconds, dread can last an entire scene or an entire movie, and Obsession thrives on dread. The shadows aren't hiding the horror, they're creating it. I spent so much time staring in the background of the movie, it was like I was trying to find Waldo, except Waldo ain't that damn creepy.
Hello?
The reason Obsession works isn't because it's the scariest movie I've ever seen. It's because it lingered. Days later, I'm still thinking about certain scenes, certain shadows, certain unanswered questions. That's rare. Most horror movies end with the credits roll. Obsession didn't. And that's why it's an above average for me. Have you seen Obsession? Let me know if I'm crazy or if this movie got under your skin too. Join me next time on Truly Tame Reviews, where we keep it real, even when the movies don't. God bless, Jesus is King, and keep chasing your passions.